Welcome to episode 13. This is coming out late Saturday night instead of late Friday night. So instead of going around things, I say we just get right into things. And that starts with our intro music in three, two, one.
Tedeschi dentro sotto per Dybala, attenzione, va la gioia, Dybala! Oh God! Stokely down the sideline! Can they catch him? Stokely! Wow!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang!
So I mentioned this is coming out late Saturday night, and there's a reason behind that. First of all, I'm not feeling the greatest right now. I'm exhausted. I have a lot of stuff going on with school, semesters coming to an end, but mainly I normally post Friday nights. I couldn't really do that last night because of a couple reasons. The main one was that today I had to be in Massachusetts to compete for jiu-jitsu, represent UMass Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at a tournament with some other colleges. It was us, UMass Lowell, UMass Dartmouth, UMass Boston, Boston University, Harvard, Brandeis, and Northeastern. So last night I was cutting weight. I dropped down from 215 on Thursday to 205 yesterday, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't in the greatest spot to record. I was tired, I was hungry, I was depleted. So here we are, Saturday, the day after the tournament. And because of the fact that we had a tournament, I feel like it's only right to kind of talk about that. So, UMass Jiu-Jitsu, we went to the Commonwealth Cup, a tournament just to have us go against some of these other schools, something that we wanted to do last semester too, but we weren't able to. So it was just a great opportunity for us. We had a great time. It was me along with our four other competitors, Jack, Bog, Emil, Billy, and then we also had a bunch of our other guys there. We had Owen in the corner coaching us. We had Matt show up there as well, rooting us. We had Xander. Nika was there. And then we also had Leela there as well. Just all of our people coming to show out, root us on, and just show support for our team. And it's a great group of people. I just love the squad that we have at Jiu-Jitsu, and I feel like kind of a sense of onus for me that caused me to put out this episode a bit late. I'm now going to kind of narrate my first match. Our first matchup was against UMass Lowell. I opened it up for us against Chris and started standing on the feet. I go for a couple of Russian ties, but I'm not able to get that. And so that really, for me, sets up a lot of my stand-up game, go into a lot of stuff. And then Chris shoots, and I'm able to sprawl out. And I honestly feel like I could have cross-faced better here, tried to work to the back, because he was pretty consistent with his re-attack. But eventually I'm able to turn around, get to his back. We stand up, and even though I don't have the greatest grip, good mat return. First time I mat returned someone in the competition. And I go for a crucifix there, try to get it. I'm not able to, and I try to roll over, take the back. And I kind of rushed through things here. He rolls over, and I try to go for a back triangle. I'm not able to get it. So I kind of settle for guard, and then the ref stops us and makes us reset in the middle. And at this point, I'm up 2-0 just because of that mat return takedown. Gave me the 2 points a minute through the match. And here in guard, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. It's a spot that I work from a lot. I'm not really the biggest guy when it comes to stand-up, more of a guard player. But from here, I like my triangles, something that I'm very comfortable with, and as you see, that's what I go for. I get the leg over, and I have the arm isolated. I just can't lock up a proper figure four to get that triangle. Even here, it's not completely locked in. If the ref would kind of scoot out the way, I'm fighting for it. I realistically need to get my left arm hooked under his leg on the far side to cut an angle, but I'm not able to do that. So I keep on readjusting there. That is what I should be going for. But I tried to transition to the arm here. He kind of postures up, so I'm thinking maybe I go to mounted triangle. But then I get the underhook on the far side leg. I bring that arm across, squeeze the head here, and I'm able to get the tap in 2 minutes 10 seconds. A nice, good momentum starter for the team as we went on to do pretty well. We got 4 subs and 1 win by points in this round. And then in our next round against UMass Boston, it was another 4 subs and a win by points, I believe. And then in the finals, we faced off against Harvard. That was a pretty interesting matchup, I will say. We were doing a lot of stuff. First matchup was between Billy, our captains, Billy and their captain Matthew. Matthew ultimately ended up coming away with that a big 17-0 win for him via points. So that got them on the board. They were up. The way it worked is that you got 3 points for sub, 2 for win by points. And so they were up 2 wins, win by point. And then here I'm up second, and I get a tight ankle lock, finish it off. That puts us up 3-2. Then after that, my boy Brendan Bogg, he loses on a referee's decision. So now we're tied 3-3 at the end of this match. And then Jack is crazy good wrestler. He ends up winning a crazy point match. I think it was ended 16-2 or something like that. So at that point, we're up 5-3. And then we go into the finals with Emil and Ryan, 2 purple belts, very high-level guys. It was a bit of a controversy because stuff ended a bit unexpectedly. Even though we did ultimately end up getting the win, it was a weird thing that we weren't really expecting. But in the end, we ended up coming away with the win. I had a great time out there. It was amazing, honestly, to compete with these guys and just put on for a group of people that I've been training with now for 2 years. I've spent a lot of time in that training room, made a lot of good memories there, and it was just nice to be able to be with these guys and capitalize on that moment. So, shout out to all of those guys, and I had a blast. But that was the reason that this episode is coming out a wee bit late. But I feel like it's honestly a pretty valid reason. Sorry for the cost. This is going to be a horrible listening experience. I've had these horrible coughs that come hit me at night. But yeah, that was the reason this episode is coming out on a Saturday. But enough of that. Enough of my jiu-jitsu yapping. Let's get into some of the actual news. And we'll start off in the world of soccer. First piece of actual news is that Chelsea has decided to sack Liam Rosenior effective immediately after only 4 months with the team. And after a 3-0 defeat to Brighton, which brought them to 5 consecutive defeats with 0 goals scored, which was something that hadn't been done since 1912. So that was really rough. And what makes it worse is that they didn't start the season off with Rosenior. he was already their second coach. They started the season off with Enzo Maresca as their coach, but they fired him too. So now they're on their third coach, interim coach, Callum McFarlane. I am probably mispronouncing that name, but he was the coach of their under 21 team, and he'll be the interim for the rest of the season. But the way things are going, I don't even know what it's going to look like, because ever since the U.S. ownership has taken over, they've had 5 new long-term managers, which is just ridiculous. And what brings it to a whole nother level is that they gave Rosenyor a 5.5-year contract after they fired Maresca early on in the season. Like, why are you giving these dudes long-term contracts if you don't even know you're going to keep them for that long? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just ridiculously dumb. So they give him a massive contract and then they fire him. What makes it even weirder is that Rosenyor had been really supportive of his players, just standing behind them even after they were eliminated 8-2 aggregate in the Champions League and knocked out by Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. But after that 3-0 loss to Brighton, he just turned heel on them, bro. He called their performance indefensible. So it's a weird shift for me. I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but I don't think Chelsea's going to be able to qualify for European play next year. They're sitting right behind Liverpool, I believe it is. And I think that Liverpool, even though they are a bit wobbly, they are much more secure and will be able to finish out the season strong. And then we get over to the NBA. A lot of stuff has been happening in the NBA. It is obviously the playoffs, as I've mentioned. But something that sucks is that we didn't have Victor Wembanyama in most of Game 2 and Game 3 of the series between the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trail Blazers after he was diagnosed with a concussion on Tuesday. This happened at the 8:47 mark of the second quarter. He fell while he was driving to the basket with Drew Holiday contesting him, and he basically hit his chin first on the court, which it rattles your brain. And what made it look a whole lot worse is that he was laying face down, eyes closed, on the court. That made it look really bad, and his teammates noticed that. They rushed over to see if he was okay. Ultimately, he wasn't out cold, but he did have to sit under the rim for a couple minutes before he could get up and jog into the locker room with their trainer. So he missed most of Game 2 and all of Game 3. I think Game 4 is tomorrow on Sunday. So hopefully he'll be back by then, just because concussion protocol for the NBA is you can't participate in anything fully for 48 hours. The injury happened on Tuesday, so that would be Wednesday and Thursday. Yesterday, they didn't clear him, but to be cleared, you have to pass several benchmarks and be symptom-free. And then once you pass those benchmarks, you have to get cleared by the team doctor in consultation with the league protocol director. So there's a couple steps that you need to pass to be able to be cleared to play. But it just sucks because Wemby's just entertaining to watch, dude. He's DPOY. He's MVP finalist and just one of the most entertaining young superstars in the league. I can't wait to see what he does when he comes back. And sticking on the topic of awards like MVP, DPOY, we'll talk about MIP. Nickeil Alexander won the 2025-2026 Most Improved Player Award. And this comes after he made a 11.4 point per game jump from 9.4 points per game to 20.8. Absolute insane points per game jump for him, and it's a piece of history right here because this is the first time that a team has had back-to-back winners of Most Improved Player. Last year it was Dyson Daniels, and this year it was Nickeil Alexander, both with the Hawks. And I mentioned that 11.1 per game score or 11.4 point per game scoring jump. That goes along with 3.7 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.3 steals, career high in blocks, career high in field goal percentage, and a career high in 3-point percentage. Like, this dude just balled out. He was pretty much the reason that the Hawks were able to stay afloat after it seemed like they were doomed for collapse when they dealt away Trae Young. But he was able to keep the team out of the play-in, and he became a mainstay in their starting lineup. So he's just been an amazing, amazing player for them. Someone that, in my opinion, is irreplaceable at this point now, especially considering the fact that their series with the Knicks is tied 2-2. So, on that note, we are going to go look into what is happening in the NBA playoffs. We're going to look at the brackets right now. The OKC Thunder lead the Phoenix Suns 3-0. I think Thunder's come away with a sweep there. Shea had 42 in Game 3 after a lot of debate surrounding, were the refs favoring the Thunder in Game 2? Were they not calling stuff for the Suns? This, that, and the third. Devin Booker complained about it a lot. He actually called out the refs in that game, but Shea let his play speak for itself, even not having Jalen Williams. So they came away with the victory, and now they are poised for the sweep on Monday. And then, for me, one of the big surprises, the Lakers are up 3-0 against the Rockets in the series without Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves. I didn't see that coming. I thought that the Rockets' defense would have been way too much for the Lakers without Luka and Reeves. I thought that having LeBron kind of be this anchor on both offense and defense was going to be too taxing on a 41-year-old body, and that the Lakers really didn't have a guy to pick on in the very good Rockets defensive lineup. But apparently LeBron James is going to play until he's 100 years old because it just doesn't make sense, the stuff that he's doing right now. He's absolutely insane, top-level player. Just doing all of this stuff. And now the Lakers themselves are in a position to sweep or gentlemen's sweep. And then you go over to Game 4 happening right now between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Timberwolves are up by 13 right now at the time of this recording when I'm going through all this. Up 97-84 over the Nuggets. This is one of the most, for me, interesting and entertaining series to watch. I thoroughly enjoy watching these two teams go at it. I think Anthony Edwards, even though he did have an injury scare in this game, is amazing to watch. Nikola Jokic, out of this world. Just I can't even say a freak of nature because he's not extremely athletic, but he just does everything else right. So that is an interesting series there. I think that if the Timberwolves go up 3-1, they're going to come away with that series. But if it goes 2-2 going back to Denver, I think it could be anyone's series. So I will stay tuned into that. And then we go to the aforementioned series between the Spurs and the Trailblazers. The Spurs are up 2-1 despite not having Wemby for one of those games. Well, one and a half of those games pretty much. But realistically, he should come back tomorrow, and I think they'll come away with a gentleman's sweep there. I think the Spurs are just better than Trailblazers in every capacity. They're going to be the other team in the Western Conference Finals, apart from the Thunder. They could potentially play in the NBA Finals. They're just that good, that high level of team. Dylan Harper became the youngest player in playoff history to score 30 points or something like that. So the Spurs, very good team. And then we get over to the Eastern Conference. A bit of a surprise. The Orlando Magic are leading the Detroit Pistons. I didn't think this was going to happen. After I watched the Magic playing game against the 76ers, I thought they were done for. I thought that the Hornets were going to be too much for them in the playing game, that 8-9 playing game, but they were not. Magic were able to come away with that victory and then take game 1 in Detroit. So I wasn't really expecting that result, but the Magic are now up. I think that the Pistons have to win game 2 or game 4 in Orlando and go back to Detroit with the series tied 2-2. Basically just reset everything, make it a best out of 3 there. Excuse me. And then you get to Cavs and the Raptors. Cavs are up 2-1. I think that they'll be able to take this away in 6. I think that just their ability to have a closer is going to benefit them a lot. Something that the Raptors don't really have, and I think that D. Mitch is going to be able to close the final 2 games for them, whether that's in 5 or in 6. And then kind of another surprise, the Knicks and the Hawks are tied at 2 apiece. It took a cat triple-double to win game 4, and CJ McCollum has kind of been going off. So I didn't think it was going to be tied 2-2 going back to New York. I thought it would be like 3-1, but now anything could happen, dude. I mentioned Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's playing well, dude. CJ McCollum is playing really well. The Hornets have a nice, or not the Hornets, the Hawks have a nice team, and the Knicks have some issues that need to be addressed. And then final game, the Celtics lead the 76ers 2-1 in that series. The Celtics are the better team. I think they'll be able to take this series in 5 or 6. It took a record-breaking VJ Edgecombe game to win game 2. So it's just Celtics are just a more talented team, kind of like the Spurs and Trailblazers there. And so with the kind of overlook at the schedule, we'll look at overlook at the standings of the playoffs. We'll look at the schedule now. Coming up for the rest of the weekend and Monday, pretty much we'll go through pretty much all the series. The Cavaliers and the Raptors playing at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. All of the first 4 games are all tomorrow, Sunday, April 26th. Cavs, Raptors at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then you got the Spurs and Trailblazers at 3:30. Hopefully Wemby's back for that game. I want to watch him play. He's fantastic to watch. And then you got Celtics 76ers at 7. And Lakers with the chance to close it out against the Rockets at 9:30. And then on Monday, you got the Pistons looking to even out the series at 2 apiece, playing against the Magic at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you got the Thunder looking to close it out, move on to the next round against the Suns at 9:30 Eastern. And the Timberwolves looking to maybe close things out if they win tonight against the Denver Nuggets at 10:30. So that is all of the NBA news. Now it is time to get into the NFL. And obviously the draft happened. If you didn't get the memo, that's what the main topic of this episode is about. I'm going over the entire first round, giving grades, analysis for every pick, every trade, all that stuff. But something that happened later after the first round, and I think it was the early third, the Vikings traded Jonathan Grenard to the Eagles for 2 third-round picks, one in this year's draft and one in next year's draft. And the Eagles are extending on a 4-year, $100 million extension with $50 million fully guaranteed. So I think that 2/3 is pretty good value for Goddard. He could still be a very, very good piece for the Eagles. Contribute a lot for them. Kind of be that Jalen Phillips type role, but not too crazy. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm tired. I apologize. It's not a great listening experience, but I feel like $100 million is a bit of an overpay for him. I think you might have been able to lower that just a bit, but very, very good piece for them. Very good addition. They'll be able to build off of that in the future. And then we get to the Packers. They agreed to a 3-year extension worth $50.25 million with Jaden Reed, their wide receiver, kind of cementing their wide receiver room at this point by keeping Reed in Green Bay through 2029. He has been a productive player for them. In his first 3 seasons, he's had 1,857 yards and 15 touchdowns, I believe. But the majority of that came in his first 2 seasons because last year he dealt with some shoulder and foot injuries that required him to get surgery in week 3, I think it was. So he only had 207 yards and a touchdown last year, which puts his total for the first 2 seasons at, I think it was 1,650 yards and 14 touchdowns, if my mental math is correct. So hopefully he bounces back and is productive for them, just because they kind of emptied out their receiver room. They let Romeo Doubs walk in free agency. He went and signed a $68 million contract with the Patriots. And then they also traded Dontavian Wicks to the Eagles for a 5th and 6th round pick. So now they have Reed, and they're kind of also hopefully leaning on Christian Watson, who has been up and down. He dealt with injuries to start off the season, but to end the season, he finished it off with a bang. The last 10 weeks of the season, he was averaging 17.5 yards per reception, I believe it was, which was at the top of the league. So if they re-sign him, they have Reed under contract as well. They got their first-round pick from last year, Matthew Golden, under contract as well. So I believe all 3 of those guys, if they extend Watson as well, will be on the team through like 2029 at least, which is a very, very solid move for them. Just keeping all of these players in-house with Jordan Love, giving them some real continuity there. But that is pretty much all of the news that has happened in the world of sports. Welcome to the main topic of the episode. The first round happened on Thursday. I know this episode's coming out a bit late on Saturday instead of the normal Friday, but I think it's only fitting that we go over the first round of the draft. So we start things out. Obvious pick here. The Raiders picked Fernando Mendoza. There was no sugarcoating that. Everyone knew it was going to happen. They needed a quarterback, considering that Geno Smith had arguably the worst season. No, not arguably. He had the worst season in the NFL last year. So I bring in Mendoza. And he's a great fit for them in the Kubiak system. He's an accurate passer. He doesn't throw interceptions. I think he threw a total of 6 last year in comparison to the 41 touchdowns. So he can completely unlock the Raiders' passing game. They finished 28th in passing last year. So just being able to bring him into the fold is something that will benefit them a lot. So here is to the Raiders actually having a franchise piece that will help them in the future. And then second overall pick, the Jets took David Bailey. Kind of a surprise, because there were a lot of people thinking that they would take Arvell Reese instead. But no matter who they were going to take, they needed help on D-line. They finished 25th in total defense last year. So Bailey makes sense. He is the most decorated pass rusher in the draft. He finished the year with 14 and a half sacks, and he'll be able to fit into their scheme very well. They do a lot of disguising stuff, so being able to rotate in with Joseph Asai and Will McDonald, who's on the last year of his contract, I believe, being able to pair up with them is going to benefit him a lot. I feel like they probably should have gone with Arvell Reese, though, just because of the amount of upside that comes with Reese compared to Bailey. So for that, I'll give them a C. I just think that it could have been a lot better if you had drafted Reese instead of Bailey. And then after that, at 3, the Cardinals took Jeremiah Love. They had been picking up a lot of momentum going into the draft. A lot of speculation was coming out about him, and how the Cardinals were seriously considering picking him up, and they ended up doing that. But did you really need to? You brought in Tyler Algier in free agency. You have James Conner coming back as well. I guess the Cardinals needed help. They finished 31st in rushing with only 93 yards per game. So bringing in arguably the best player in the draft, the guy who ran for 1,372 yards and 18 touchdowns, I think it was, that won't hurt. But you had a lot of other things that you could have done. You need help on the offensive line. You need help on defense as well. I feel like either of those probably would have been a better pick for the Cardinals, which is why I'm also giving them a C, just because you didn't really need Jeremiah Love here. You needed other pieces. And then at 4, the Titans took Carnell Tate. I feel like I didn't think the Titans would take Tate. I thought that they would take a lineman off of the board at 4 just to protect Cam Ward and help him survive, just because that division houses the Texans defense, which is very, very good. Jaguars aren't any slouches either. So I felt like they should have brought in a lineman, but they're bringing in Tate, who will be their wide receiver 1, X receiver. I don't care that they brought in Wan'Dale Robinson. Excuse me, it's late. I'm going to be yawning the entire episode. But yeah, you're bringing in Tate, who is a big receiver, 6'2", and he'll be wide receiver 1. He'll be that X receiver guy who can go win on the outside. Guy who is a deep threat as well, 32.5 yards per touchdown last year, I think it was. And he put up 4 scores of 40 or more yards, or 5 scores of 40 or more yards, I think it was. But he is that explosive down the field receiver that Cam Ward can take advantage of, because he's a very good arm. And that also, it's a nice pairing with Wan'Dale Robinson, more of a underneath receiver being able to kind of balance that out. So I think that it's a very good move for the Titans, but I feel like linemen would have been better. So ultimately, I'll give them a B. I'll give them a flat B. I think there are things that could have been better, but Tate nevertheless is a very very solid pick for them. After that, we got back to back Ohio State players. Arvell Reese went to the Giants. I was a bit confused by this. Honestly, like I said, I thought the Jets should have taken them, but they didn't. So now the Giants took him, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of confused me. Where like you don't need a pass rusher. You have Brian Burns, you have Abdul Carter, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, barring a trade. So play him at linebacker. Maybe that wasn't really the goal when he did the combine as an edge, not a linebacker. I know he played linebacker in college. I watched him, but why? I guess if you're just banking on him being potential, man, he's a freak of nature. He's 6'4", 241. He ran what? 4.46? So if you're just banking on pure potential and his floor just being ridiculously high, okay, but you needed a linebacker, and Sonny Styles was right there. He wasn't taken. You could have just easily picked him to pair up and just be that connector between a good off defensive line and a not too bad secondary. But you took Reese, and that just kind of confuses me. So I'll give it a D. I'm not a huge fan of this move. After that, the Kansas City Chiefs traded up with the Cleveland Browns, and they took Mansour Delane. And I honestly did not know if they were going to go DB with their first pick, considering the fact that they've always been drafting mid-round corners and just letting Spags develop them to be like good starter level players. But no, they've gone with Delane, and it's a smart move considering they just completely emptied out, or they didn't empty out, but their secondary was completely emptied out during the offseason with those two players going to the Rams, and then I think it was two or three other players leaving. So you're bringing in the corner one of the draft. This dude, he's good in coverage. He's going to be a starter for day one for them. He's good both on, off ball, and press. He can take the ball away too. I think he had 13 PBUs and what? 2 interceptions. So he is going to be a star. If the past is any sign of what is going to happen, and the development of corners in Kansas City is any sign of what is going to happen with Delane, I think that he'll become an All-Pro pretty soon. So I give this an A for the Chiefs. So my first A I'm giving out. Well, no, second A because Mendoza gets an A for the Raiders, but this is an A for the Chiefs. This is a very, very good pick. You can't pass up on that at all. And then at 7, the Commanders didn't even have to do anything. Sonny Styles fell right into their laps, dude. And that's perfect for them. They get the best linebacker in the draft. I don't care what anyone else says. He's a freak of nature, 6'5", 244. I talked about his combine performance when the combine was happening a couple episodes ago. But if you need a refresher, he ran a 4.46 40. He had an 11.2 broad jump. I think his vertical is like 40. I want to say 42. It was an insane vertical as well. All records for linebackers. And the Commanders have their Bobby Wagner replacement for the future. He has all pro written all over him, dude. I love watching Sonny Styles play. This is also an A+ for me. Amazing pick. You didn't have to lose any assets to get the best linebacker in the draft. This is a guy that he can go into coverage. He used to be a safety at Ohio State, so he can cover. He is a physical run defender. He can blitz as well with his size, his speed, and his strength combination. And he doesn't miss tackles. He only missed, I think it was 2 over the course of the season. And he's just a natural leader. He's going to make the right calls. He's going to encourage teammates. He's going to do everything that you want him to do as that middle linebacker, captain of his defense. I think that the Commanders hit a home run here with Sonny Styles. This is, for me, best pick of the top 10. This is great. After that, at 8, the Saints take Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. And there was a lot of questions going into the draft about Tyson's health, considering the fact that he's had injuries. He's torn his ACL, messed up his entire knee. He's had a collarbone injury, hamstring injuries as well. But the Saints needed a receiver. They needed someone to pair up with Olave, who himself is injury prone with, I think it's 4 concussions now. But they need someone to fill in the Rashid Shaheed hole, and Jordan Tyson can do just that. It gives Tyler Shugg another weapon in case, kind of like a prove-it year for him, like the Saints to see if, is what Tyler Shugg did in like those 10 games actually real? Is it legit? So Tyson being able to run those like short intermediate routes underneath Olave is a plus, but he also has that vertical down the field ability that is really, really good as well. And Shugg can take advantage of that. He has a decently good arm, so that will 100% be a help for the Saints. I'm just not completely sold on the health. I feel like could have taken maybe Mekhi Lemon, but I guess the pairing of that, like 2 kind of underneath-ish guys, wouldn't exactly have worked. Or you could have shifted to the defensive side of the ball, taken like a linebacker. Caleb Downs was still there. You still had some of the other defenders as well, but I feel like Caleb Downs could have definitely been an option if they didn't go Jordan Tyson. I give this a C. I give this a B-. I'm not super high on it, but it wasn't a horrible pick for them either. It was a very solid pick. Excuse me. After that, the Cleveland Browns selected Spencer Fano with the 9th overall pick after they traded down with the Kansas City Chiefs. And offensive line was a major place of need for the Browns, and they've been addressing that, dude. Fano, he played both tackle positions in college. He can also potentially play in the interior, but probably won't, considering that the Browns brought in Elton Jenkins and Zion Johnson. So he will play tackle, especially when you look at the fact that their tackle position gave up the worst pressure rate in the league with 16.2 and 36 pressures, I think it was. So this is a guy that is talented, dude. He is an amazing player for them, and he'll start day one. I don't know if it'll be right or left tackle. Either one, he'll be the starting tackle for the Cleveland Browns going into the season, trying to protect Pro Bowler Shador Sanders. After that, it's 2 tackles in a row. The Giants take Francis Maginoa. Oh, hold up. We need a grade for the Spencer Fanow pick. I gave this an A. Or, no, I gave this a B, like mid B, but this dude is nice, extraordinary, very, very solid pick for the Browns. After that, now we get to Francis Maginoa. The Giants needed linemen, but you didn't need a tackle. You didn't really need a tackle. You needed a guard, and Vega Ione is right there. Like, I'm not sure you want Falele there starting for you. He's bad, to put it nicely. Falele is not great. So I think Maganoa probably shouldn't have been taken here. I think the Giants should have taken Vega Ione. But Maganoa he's a great player. All things aside. He was consensus All-American this year. He only gave a 1.1% pressure rate, which is amazing. He's a fast guy. He can move, which is why I think he might go on the interior. Like, he could eventually catch defenders with his size and his speed, catch them off guard, and just be a nice piece for them. But I feel like you could have gotten all of that in Vega Ione, who is a guard. Like, Maganoa has played tackle his entire life. I don't know if you want to move him to the interior. And for that, I give this a C. I'm not a huge fan of that. After that, the Dallas Cowboys traded up one spot with the Miami Dolphins and got their guy, Caleb Downs. How the Giants passed up. Also, apart from Vega Ione, the Giants could have just taken Caleb Downs, who was the best player on the board at that point. Like, why didn't you take him? I don't know. Caleb Downs, apart from all the things about his size, he's this, he's that, he's not good, there's maybe a knee issue there. No, that dude is an animal. He is 6 foot, is perfectly adequate for a safety. This guy is a monster, bro. He's probably going to play nickel, but he can help in the run game. He can cover, dude. He can force turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, whatever you need. He could also potentially play in special teams, return punts if you need. He did that in college. I don't remember who it was against, but he has touchdown returns. He has punt returns as well. And this is just a guy he's a leader. He's smart. He has all the instincts in the world. And the Dallas Cowboys just got a steal, honestly, at 11? It's an amazing pick for them. I think that this is great, dude. I give this an A+. A steal for them. So, yeah, Giants, you done messed up by letting Caleb Downs go to the Cowboys. After that, at 12, the Dolphins traded down with the aforementioned Cowboys. They picked Caden Proctor, a team with an absurd amount of needs. You picked a a giant, but an inconsistent giant. For all he has all the physical tools in the world, but he's not exactly consistent with his play. I'll put it that way. Um, Also, you don't need a left tackle. You have Patrick Paul who's going to start there. So why? Like you can move him to right, I guess, or have a jumbo sized guard. The dude is 6'7", 352. Like, what are we talking about here? So I don't know if you needed him. Again, this also could have been a Vega Ione spot. Just bringing a pure guard. However, you made it clear you need to protect Malik Willis, but also what weapons is Malik Willis throwing to? I think Tutu Atwell is his wide receiver one. So for all the protection in the world, that doesn't mean anything if you don't have any receivers to catch the ball. So, bit of a question there. I gave this the C minus. Not a huge fan of that. After that, we get to what is arguably the most interesting pick of the draft. The Rams drafted Ty Simpson. Apparently, they know something that I don't here. That maybe he is just that good. He only started in 15 games? Only started one season, but why'd you take him when you could have drafted literally anyone else to help win the Super Bowl? Like, your defense is fine. Could have drafted Mekhi Lemon. He's still available. He's still there. Pair him up with Devontae and Puka. Could have drafted a lineman. Vega Ione is still there. But no, you drafted Ty Simpson, and Sean McVay didn't look too thrilled at it. Didn't look too thrilled about it at all at the press conferences. So there is also that little nugget. But I guess he was the second best quarterback in the class. He's accurate as well. He 64.5% completion percentage. Just reading off the stats right now, 3,567 yards, 28 touchdowns. So he can sling the ball, but he'll take his time. He'll sit behind Stafford for however long Stafford decides to continue playing. He'll learn the McVay system, all that good stuff. But again, why? Like, so many other places you could have gone, and for that, I gave this a D. There is no need for that. No need to draft Simpson. You could have gone so many other directions and been so much better off. And then we get to the Ravens. This is an A. Vega Ione fell to them at 14, and that's amazing. Like, whew. You are bringing in a dog. If you have not seen his quotes about his mentality and what he's thinking going into his job with the Ravens, go read those because he is a dog, bro. This is what he is, the definition of a Raven, bro. And they needed that protection. Their guard combo was horrible last year. They also gave up a sack on 89 or 8.9% of their quarterback dropbacks. So this is a guy who pure guard, best guard in the class. And when you lost Tyler Linderbaum, people were kind of thinking, oh, what are they going to do from here? But this guy is arguably just as good. I think he could be a Pro Bowler, All Pro type guy right off the bat. So I give this an A for the Ravens. They've made it clear that Lamar Jackson, you will be protected. This guy, top of the line security for him, both in the run game and the pass game. Someone that hasn't given up a sack in the last 2 seasons as well. So this is great. I am all for this, bro. After that, at 15, the Buccaneers drafted Reuben Bain. I was kind of surprised that Reuben Bain fell this far. He fell all the way down to 15. I thought he was going to be taken in the top 10. But here we are. The Buccaneers took him. And this was a guy that was arguably the best edge rusher in all of college football last year. He had good production in the season, during the regular season, and then turned it up during the playoffs. He had 5 sacks in the playoffs. So he is a guy that produces when it matters most. But I feel like the reason he fell this far is just because of the arms. He measured it. I think it was like 30-inch arms or something, maybe smaller. I can't remember off the top of my head. But his arms were a major question, and honestly, I don't really understand that. When you watch the film, he doesn't really rely on his like a long arm or anything. He has a lot of other moves in his bag that he can use. He has the strength as well to off balance and then work off of that. So the arm length thing I never really understood, and so the Buccaneers are just able to pick him up at 15. Add some pass rush help to a defense that wasn't great last year. So I give this a B. It's a very, very solid move for them that helps them out a lot in the long run. So this is a B for me. After that, the Jets take Kenyon Sadiq. Again, kind of like their David Bailey pick. Why? I feel like you could have gone other directions than a tight end. It's interesting because he's kind of a combine warrior. If we're being honest here, he ran a 4.39 40 time, which is amazing. He had a 43.5 vertical. So he was a combine. I'm also saying this because he put up those numbers, but he only had 12.2 yards per game. So if you have all these physical traits, where's the production? Like, you had 13 receptions of 20 or more yards. Cool. You only total like 500 yards on the season. What's up with that? Why'd that happen? I don't know. So I feel like the Jets could have gone again. I keep bringing up Mekhi Lemon. He fell for no reason whatsoever, bro. You could have just paired him up and it would have gone amazingly with Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell. But tight end for me just doesn't make that much sense. So I give this a D as well. This is not good process from the Jets, a team that has 3 first-round picks. Not exactly top-of-the-line intelligence here. But then again, when are the Jets ever top-of-the-line intelligence when it comes to anything, I guess? After that, the The Lions at 17 took Blake Miller. They have seemingly come to the conclusion that Benaisi will move to left tackle, but let's be honest. They're not losing anything there. Blake Miller is a dog, bro. He's a prototypical tackle. He's 6'6", 315 pounds. He holds the all-time record for starts, or not for starts, for snaps played at Clemson. He started in 54 games. His record is 3,778 snaps, I believe. And this is a guy that, like I said, he's coming in with a lot of experience, and he's a great player in both the pass and the run game. He has long arms that can help lock down the edge. He can secure those blocks, shut down those defenders, and that's important when you play in the NFC North with the Packers, with the crazy stunts that the Vikings do, and whatever the Bears decide to do. So this is a great pickup for them. I give this a B+, borderline A. I really, really like this move for the Lions. They also just needed help on the offensive line as well. They could have potentially addressed some defensive needs, tried to pair up someone on the edge on the other side of Trey Hendrickson, but I am fine with this move. Blake Miller is a Lion, and that is A-okay with me. After that, the Vikings took the biggest swing in the draft. The only question is it a strikeout or is it a homer? Because they took Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida, and if this was, 2024, probably could have been a top 10 pick considering his size, speed, strength combination, the stuff that he was doing in 2024. But big guys with foot issues aren't exactly a good combination. It's not exactly something you want to see. It's a position of need, I guess. You've lost Juwan Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. You just moved on from Jonathan Grenard as well. So, I guess. But, again, I don't know how I feel about this. You were linked to Dylan Thieneman the entire pre-draft process to kind of become that stalwart in the secondary like Harrison has been, but you decided not to. So my question is, why didn't you go for Thieneman? Like, it's a secondary is a clear need for you, but so is defensive tackle. So I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. So I give this a D. I'm not a huge fan of this. After that, the Panthers took Monroe Freeling. This, for me, very smart move. Like, there's no pressure for him to start immediately, considering the fact that they have Rasheed Walker and Taylor Motton. They're in the room already as their tackle spots. But when he does slot in and does play, he could be the future for them. He could be that guy that's holding down the left side of the line for Bryce Young. And it just makes sense to draft a lineman on a team that finished 23rd in pass block win rate, 28th in run block win rate, and 29th in pressure rate. So he only gave up 2 sacks last year. He can play both on the right and the left, so depending on your need, he can move either way, either spot. It's also kind of a steal considering he was the second-ranked tackle in the draft. So, yeah, very solid. I gave this a B. Also, just because smart move, because the Panthers weren't really linked to offensive tackles in the pre-draft process. I feel like a lot of people thought they were going to lean towards maybe defense to some capacity. Their GM openly came out saying that he wasn't opposed to taking a receiver 4 years in a row. So people were considering them taking Makai Lemon or whatever receiver was there at 19. But I like the Freely pick a lot for me. It's a very, very solid pickup for them. After that, I've been mentioning Makai Lemon this entire time, and he went to the Eagles after they traded up with the Cowboys to the 20th pick, and it's Howie season again, bro. How the Eagles somehow always manage to get a player that is a bargain. He was the best receiver in college football last year. He won the Blitnikoff. He had 1,156 yards with 450-yard games. He's great, dude. It's amazing. And honestly, I'm surprised how the Eagles keep getting away with this. I give this a B just because they did have to trade up, but they're fully prepared to lose AJ Brown now, or get rid of him. Moreover, send him to the Patriots. That is the worst kept secret in the world. But this is a nice pairing. Pair him up with Devontae Smith and Dontavian Wicks. It's more of a slot guy who's put up 1,281 slot yards since 2024. So you can run all those underneath routes, like those slant routes, those shallow routes that A.J. Brown ran, and just pair up well. Give Jalen Hurts another option as a receiver core for them. And like, this is a steal, bro. Like, as you're seeing, he was a number one ranked receiver, and he could have. I have also been mentioning him for a long time with all these other teams who could have picked him, but no, he goes to the Eagles, and the rich just keep getting richer. It's incredible. Like I said, I gave this a B. Very, very good pick for them. After that, we get to the Steelers at 21. They took Max Yanenkor, tackle from Arizona State, and they needed offensive linemen. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, that grandpa needs all the protection in the world. Barring he does come back, who knows realistically, but he is a three-way starter at Arizona. He started both on the right and the left, so there is lots of potential there. He's also just a very raw prospect to begin with. He only started playing football in JUCO, I believe. So, also very raw because he started playing in JUCO. There's also some gaps in his game. He does make mistakes both in the passing and running game. He's more of like, I don't want to say a position blocker when it comes to the run, but kind of is. Also, he can be off balance somewhat in the passing game and the pass rush. But if you watch the Senior Bowl clips, the dude is aggressive, which is kind of embodies what the Steelers are all about. So there is that. And this also kind of addresses the Broderick Jones concerns surrounding his play and also his health. He had neck surgery, so I don't know what percent he's going to be coming back at as well. So I give this a C just because I feel like maybe could have gone in another direction, but nevertheless still addressed a position of need that you just had to do. After that, 22. The Chargers took They took Akeem Mesidor. In my mock draft that I did last week, I had him falling far, bro. I don't think Akeem Mesidor was even taken in my mock draft, but the Chargers decided to take him. He's 25. He's the oldest first-round draft pick in the past 20 years. And I guess he's going to fill that Odafe Owe role, potentially be the Khalil Mack replacement once Khalil Mack decides to retire. But there are some questions. Like, you broke out in your 6th year in college, and it was your only year with double-digit sacks. You were 25. Are we sure that's not just a fluke because you're just older, bigger, stronger than everyone else in college? Like, the players that are good are leaving college after 3 years. That's half of what you spent in college. So, I got some questions about that. Also, Chargers. Should you have gone defense? Considering that it's a miracle Justin Herbert's alive. You had the worst offensive line in the league last year, with including injuries. Joe Alt didn't play. Rashawn Slater didn't play. Bradley Bozeman was a certified terrorist to Herbert. Who else did you have? Zion Johnson wasn't great either. You had Austin Deculus playing snaps, former LSU tackle. But should you have gone offensive line? Maybe. And for that, just because I got questions about Messidor, and also you probably should have gone offensive line, I give this a D. I think that it wasn't a great pick. After that, 23. The Cowboys, they traded down to here when the Eagles traded up to get Mekhi Lemon, and the Cowboys, they got their guy, Malachi Lawrence. It's no secret they were interested in him. They really liked him, and dude, you got more assets. You were able to trade down, get a couple assets from the Eagles, and still get your guy. So there's a plus. This is a guy, he has speed off the edge. He ran a 4.5, and he can just explode. He has tenacity off the edge to chase down plays, make plays in the pass game. He had, 11 tackles for loss, 7 sacks this season, making him an all Big 12 selection. He is just a high-energy, high-motor guy that can fit into that Christian Parker system. Kind of like Caleb Downs, also a great fit in that system. I think the Cowboys hit 2 home runs on the defense in day 1 of the draft. I give this a B+ for them. This is a very, very good pick overall. Something that the Cowboys, they needed. They needed someone to replace Micah Parsons. Yeah, you had Rashawn Gary, but apart from that, you don't really have any other pass rusher. And I feel like Malachi Lawrence, he could come in maybe day 1 and just start right away. So, great move for them. After that, 24. Cleveland Browns drafted Casey Concepcion, the receiver out of A&M. Browns were at the bottom when it came to receptions, yards, and touchdowns last year. And you just drafted the guy who led A&M in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So, put 2 and 2 together, that makes a lot of sense. The guy had 15.1 yards per catch. He is a deep threat. He has explosiveness. You can watch his highlights. He's played on special teams too, returning punts and kickoffs. Also, just a vertical threat as well. Something that will certainly help the Browns. I like this move a lot for them. There is the question, however, of drops. His drop percentage is pretty high, especially considering the fact he is a first-round pick. a very high drop percentage for a first round pick could lead to bust potential, but I'm banking on him being able to solve those issues at the next level and just move on and just be the impact player that the Browns need at the receiver spot and have been needing for a long time, honestly. Even when they had Jerry Jeudy, they still needed this guy, like a big play, deep threat guy, and I think Casey Concepcion could be exactly that. And then at 25, the Bears took Dylan Thieneman. I honestly don't know how he fell this far, dude. I thought going through all of the mock drafts, all that stuff, doing my own mock draft, I thought the Vikings were going to take him, dude. But they took Banks, so that was kind of weird for me. But it was a smart move. They needed help. They're able to replace Kevin Byron, Jaquan Brisker, two guys that they lost. They compare them now with Kobe Bryant, a safety who can really thump, and it gives them a new life to their secondary. Guys who are physical and just are able to move around the field. Because last year the Bears secondary not great. They led up the second most completions of 20 plus yards with 61. They were also gave up the most passing touchdowns of 20 plus yards of 13. They were tied for last with the Cowboys. So bringing in Thielen to boost up a secondary that had some major flaws is a very, very smart thing to do for me. After that, the Texans, Dylan Thieneman grade. I don't know if I gave a Casey Concepcion grade either. I gave Malachi Lawrence, I gave that a B plus. Casey Concepcion, I give this a B. Dylan Thieneman, I also give that a B. Two very, very good picks there. Then we get to Keelan Rutledge. I going into this and being honest, did not know much about him. Oh, sidebar. Texans traded up with the Bills to get him at 26. But back to the main point. I didn't know too much about him, honestly. I'd watched him because I'd watched Georgia Tech. I'd watched Haynes King play. But I didn't really pay attention to Keelan Rutledge. But Texans liked him apparently. They brought in help on the offensive line, which makes a lot of sense to me. And this is kind of interesting, though, because they have guys in there. They have Wyatt Teller. They have Ed Ingram. They have Jake Andrews. So maybe Rutledge takes a redshirt season. Maybe he beats out one of those guys for the spot. Who knows? But from looking into this, he's an aggressive guy. He's able to do things and just move bodies, something that the Texans just need on the defensive side of the ball. So I like this move a lot for them. After that, grade for Keelan Rutledge. I give this a B minus, I guess. Yeah, we'll call it B minus. After that, Miami Dolphins at 27 take Chris Johnson, the quarterback out of San Diego State. Opted not to go for the cornerback Colton Hood from Tennessee just because of injury concerns, stuff like that has been circulating around. And Johnson, Dolphins traded up with the 49ers to pick Johnson. He is going to be their day one starter because they don't really have any DBs at all. There's a guy with 4.4 speed who could stay with the receiver. He could also track the ball. He's great ball skills. He has 4 interceptions, and He can play however you want, dude. He's great at coverage. He can work. He can work trail. He can work in phase. He can turn to find the ball. And even with his speed, he can recover off the line of scrimmage as well. So I think that the Dolphins addressing a position of need is very, very smart for them. I give this a B, straight B. I think this is a very smart move for them. It's something that they had to do overall. Then we get to the Patriots. At 28, they traded up with the Bills after the Bills traded down with the Texans. So the Bills officially left the first round. You drafted a tackle. Interesting. I get Caleb Lomu didn't give up a single sack last year. He is a very good pass protector, even if his run blocking isn't great. He doesn't really have the best hands, and he's kind of a position blocker in the run game. But you drafted a tackle. Are the Will Campbell Amazon allegations true? Or did you just realize that Morgan Moses is 35 years old? So yeah, I just have some questions about this. Like, this is a guy, he could play both sides. He could play left or right. So whatever your need is, he could do that. Maybe even if you make him beef up a bit, he plays on the interior. But you drafted a tackle. It's weird to me. I don't know. Stuff happening around the Pacers is weird. I'm not gonna really address the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel stuff. That is happening as well. So I give this a D. It's just very, very, very strange for me. Something that not exactly a huge, huge fan of. After that, at 29, the Chiefs took Peter Woods. I am a fan of this. Give Chris Jones his heir apparent, a guy that he wasn't that productive this year, but 2024, he was nice. He had 8.5 tackles for loss. He had 4 sacks. He showed the potential to play on both the inside and on the edge with his speed power combination. And this just gives them gives them depth. They needed that. And like I said, heir apparent to Chris Jones. Chris Jones can teach him all of the secrets, give him all the juice. So this is a move that will help the Chiefs this season. They also took Mansour Delane as well, just prioritizing that defense, even though they probably could have gone offensive weapon as well. Omar Cooper was still there. Denzel Boston was also still there. So you could have gone with either of those on the offensive side of the ball, but maybe they didn't feel too confident in that. So I give this B plus A minus. This is a very good move for them. I'm all for it. And then at 30, the Jets, their third first round pick, took Omar Cooper. I like this a lot more than Kenya Sadiq. This makes a lot more sense. But it could have been Mekhi Lemon if you took him at 13. But that's not the point. Omar Cooper Jr. He's going to pair up very nicely with Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell. He's a middle of the field type of guy that can make deep, that can do the underneath stuff, but also take it deep. He also has great yak abilities that is especially useful when you consider the fact that the Jets finished 30th in yak. So I think they had like 4.5 yards after catch last year, something stinky like that. And Omar Cooper is just a yak guy. So his versatility is going to do nothing but help the Jets on that side of the ball. And I I gave this a B minus just because I feel like this was kind of making up for them not taking Lemon at what pick they took Sadiq 13. So what pick they take Sadiq? No, they took Sadiq at what? 16? Oh yeah, cuz Simpson was 13. So yeah, I feel like this is just kind of making up for not taking Lemon at 16. So that's why I give it that. And then 31st pick, the Tennessee Titans trade, or no, they didn't trade. They got Keldrick Falk. Wait, did the Titans trade for this pick? My mind is fried, dude. It's late. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for these brain farts. I don't know. I will double check that later. But they drafted Keldrick Falk. This is potential, man, honestly. Aside from Arvel Reese, he's a 6'5", 276-pound, 20-year-old. He's 20, dude. That's younger than me, bro. Like, this is a just freak of nature right now. He could play on the inside and the outside, and that's perfect in Robert Saleh defense. Someone that he can do everything for him. I really like it. There is great potential, but potential is one thing. Where is the production? You only had 10 sacks in 37 games in college. That's not exactly a great sign. You did have more pressures, but I feel like that's kind of a bad thing because you're not turning those pressures into sacks. You're not making the plays when they need to be made. So the real question with Falk is whether or not he'll be able to turn those pressures into sacks at the next level in a Robert Saleh defense where a lot of guys rotate around. So I give this a C just because I don't really know what is going to happen there and if he'll be able to live up to the physical talents that he has. Final pick of the first round, the Seahawks. 32nd overall pick took Jadarian Price. The backup to the number 3 overall pick, Jeremiah Love. Even though he was a backup, he is very good, bro. He returned touchdown. He returned kickoffs for touchdowns. He's explosive. Honestly, the only reason he wasn't a starter was because he was sitting behind the 3rd overall pick. Jeremiah Love was an absolute monster this year. But you're bringing in a guy to essentially be the RB1, considering the fact that you lost Kenneth Walker in free agency and Zach Charbonnet is probably going to be out the entire season with his ACL injury. So that's a smart move there. But I feel like you could have gone defense as well. There were some defensive needs. You lost a lot of defensive players in free agency, as all Super Bowl teams do. But I'm not too mad about this move for the Seahawks. But that is the entire first round of the draft. All 32 picks. Oh, hold up. Jadarian Price, grade. I give this a B minus. Now, that is all 32 picks. That is a grade for all 32 picks in the draft. Honestly, an interesting first round. Some of the stuff went very chalk. Some stuff I was a bit taken aback by, like Ty Simpson, Caleb Banks, the fall of Dylan Thieneman, and also Makai Lemon. But pretty good first round. we just got to wait to see what the rest of the draft shapes out to be in the coming days. This is coming out on Saturday. So Saturday is what? Rounds 4, 5, I think. And then 6, 7 are on Sunday. I'm not 100% sure, but by the time this episode's come out, the draft might be over. Who knows? But that's enough of that. That's enough of the draft talk. Actually, not really, because we'll do drafts in game time, but enough of that. Let's get into game time. Welcome to game time. We are going to be starting things out building the greatest NBA player in history. We got body, shooting, passing, dribbling, and finishing. And we're doing this from all-time players. So who do we start out with? Milwaukee Bucks. Think we take the safe shot here. Safe bet. We take Giannis body. That is a great start. Miami Heat, obviously. Actually, what do we take from LeBron here? Definitely not his shooting. Passing, he wasn't that amazing of a passer. Dribbling, no. We'll take LeBron finishing. I could have taken D Wade's speed there, or also Ray Allen shooting. Both of those very, very viable, but we'll take James Harden shooting here. That is something that I can live with. I apologize for the coughs. It's just going to keep happening. San Antonio Spurs. Who do I take here? Interesting. Who has a good handle like that on the Spurs? Obviously, neither of those two big. Not Duncan, not Robinson. Is it possible that we do I don't want to take washed up Chris Paul though. That's what I don't want to do. What are my other options here? Right. Washed up Chris Paul. De'Aaron Fox, not really. Wemby, not really. Doesn't really have the passing like that. I guess passing will go Manu passing, I guess. And please give me someone with a good handle here. Pistons. Who has a handle like that on the Pistons? A good handle package on the Pistons would be. Who in the world could this be? Not IT. Any of those 2010, early 2000s cues? Not really. I don't know. I'll take Cade dribbling, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like it could be a lot better than this, dude. It started off great with Giannis, LeBron, and then Harden as well. But things kind of deteriorated from there. I maybe could have gone Harden passing, and then picked a Spurs, picked like Duncan's mid range, and kind of just built the ultimate mid range player. But oh well, live whatever. And now we're gonna build the best team in NBA history, going against prime Golden State Warriors. Last time we did it, we had what? Halliburton, Desmond Bain, Tatum, KD, and Giannis. Let's see if we can put something together that is comparable to that, because that was an amazing team. First spin right. Not exactly a great start. We'll take MPJ as our first pick, I guess. I'm not thrilled about that. Okay. Right. Take Kawhi there, put him at the 4, maybe. Maybe I should have taken Garland there, but Kawhi just had an amazing season. I can't really pass him up. Donovan Mitchell at the 2. If I get a good defensive center, things could go well. Pistons will take Cade. And then last pick here, give me Wemby, give me like Chet. Good. Oh, keep going. Fudge. Yeah, this isn't better than the last time. No, just because last time it had the passing with Tyrese, but then also the shooting around that with Bade, KD, Tatum, and then you had Giannis in the paint. I don't think this team can hold up against that team from last week. But in terms of beating the Prime Warriors, I'll take Curry over Cade. I will take D-Mitch over Clay, but I'll take Prime KD. Kawhi and Draymond is an interesting debate. I think I might lean towards Kawhi this season. That it's kind of blasphemous, but I'll take JaVale McGee over Sabonis. So, sorry, jeez Louise, bro. Between the coughing and the yawns, this is going to be a rough game time right now at the end of today. But I lean towards JaVale McGee over Sabonis. So Prime Warriors do edge it out, but just barely. And then we get to the usual shebang. We got to build a team to win the six-tuple. Hopefully this goes well. In my opinion, I haven't built a team that's been able to do it. Who do we start out with? We start out with Napoli. Right. There's only one choice there, and that is Diego Armando Maradona. After that, Roma will go Dotti. At striker, keep feeding me. United. Yeah. I don't care that it's young Ronaldo. He was still an absolute baller while he was with United. And Chelsea will take Ashley Cole. Just because I feel like I never get a good defensive lineup when I do these. And starting off with a very good left back is a nice place to start. Give me Tottenham. Tottenham. Who do I want it? I'll take Lloris, I guess. Kind of just wash that away because I don't really feel like taking any of these other guys. Wonderful. Okay, Napoli. Who do I want to take from Napoli? Right. Screw it. McTominay. I believe the T is capitalized. That is definitely not spelled right, but we'll take McTominay. He had an amazing season last year. I was shocked by that. Benfica. Who do I want to take from Benfica? This is disgusting. Off dome, the only player that is coming to mind right now is Otamendi, which is horrible, man. I need to get deeper into my bags, but I need to study these teams. Stays. Juventus. Right. So, I have 3 options in my opinion. You could go Daddy Alves at right back. You could go Zidane in the midfield. Or you could go Chiellini in the back line. I think for value, we'll take Alves just because I don't know what other right backs I could possibly get. All things considered. Then we go PSG. Perfect. We'll take Thiago Silva. And that solved my back line issues. Nice little chemistry there. 2 Brazilians with Dani Alves, Thiago Silva. Chelsea. Tottenham. Right. Tottenham midfielders. Dude, I can't remember any of them to save my life. We'll take Xavi Simons, I guess. Not super thrilled about that. Last team, please give me something. Stay on Barcelona. Chelsea. Right. I guess take Willian. Yeah, this team is definitely not winning the sextuple. They're not even close, dude. I honestly don't even know if they win Champions League. Like, Maradona, Ronaldo, cool. Everyone else, sure. I guess. But that's not doing it for me, bro. That team is stinky. Moving on. We will go to the NFL. We got to build our QB here. Let's see if we can build the NFL MVP, which is at this point turned into a quarterback's award. And we get the Saints first. Tyler Shug is a big guy. Go Tyler Shug body. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully we get some good traits here. Chargers. There we go. Now this I can live with Justin Herbert arm because that dude has a missile, bro. He can launch it. Okay, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. We'll go Josh Allen mobility. He can move, bro. Rumbling down the field. Vegas Raiders. They just drafted Mendoza. So we'll go Mendoza accuracy. He set, I don't remember what the accuracy record was. I believe he set the single season accuracy record in college, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't matter because we got Michael Penix as our IQ. Did I just build Josh Allen? Like before he was MVP? Like that one boneheaded season where he had like 30 interceptions? I think so. Because you have the arm talent, the body and the mobility of Allen pretty much. The accuracy is there, but he just makes a lot of boneheaded plays, tries to force it into windows, and that leads to interceptions. Yeah, that's just Josh Allen from like 3 years ago. Like that's the same dude. All right. Final draft. We got to draft our NFL team. You know the deal. Quarterback, running back, tight end, 2 receivers, O-line, D-line, offense or O-line, defense, defensive player, and coach. Start out with the Rams. We'll take right. We'll take McVay just because he provides such an advantage compared to every other coach in the league. I feel like they're comparable quarterbacks, and Houston Texans will take that Texans defense. They're disgusting. Back to the Rams. I feel like there might be some comparable younger quarterbacks to Stafford, and then Puka Nacua is in the asylum right now. But it doesn't matter. We can still go Puka as one of our wide receivers. Off to a very good start, in my opinion. Honestly, one of the best starts I've ever had here. And this is why I saved quarterback. Because now you have Drake May with Sean McVay and Puka Nacua catching passes, which is an absolutely disgusting combination. Running back will take A-Chain as well. Things are going very, very good. Who else do we get? Detroit Lions. I don't know. Who should I add? I could go Hutch to add a defensive player. I could go Laporta. Or I could go Amon Ra. I'll go, honestly, I'll go Sam Laporta. Add him just to have a little something. The Broncos had a very good offensive line. Not talked about a lot, but the Broncos' offensive line was very solid. The Packers. Now we're talking. You add Micah Parsons to that Texans defense. I don't know how it works between him, Will Anderson, and Danielle Hunter, but we'll figure it out. In our third pick, we get Davante Adams. So I think that was the best NFL draft I have done. You got Drake May at quarterback with, I think, 10 times better offense than he currently has. You have Achane at running back, Laporta at tight end, and then the Rams receiver duo of Puka and Devontae. You got Sean McVay as a head coach for Drake May, which is amazing. You have the Broncos O-line, the Texans defense with Micah Parsons. Like, that is ridiculously good. I don't even know what to say. Like, that's amazing. Best team I've built. I honestly think might be 17-0 team right here. But that is the end of the drafts. Now we get into some of the more interesting stuff. We got sorry for the coughs, dude. Our blind tier list, we'll go KD there. Oh, crud. Jokic. Oh, fudge. Bird. I have no idea what this ranking is. Oh, this is not good. Right. Steph will go there. Shaq here. Shea there. Kobe here. Hakeem there. Dirk there. Give me LeBron. Ew. I don't even know what my category was. Okay. Let's fix all of this. Right. Bird 1. Right below him is Shaq and Curry right below him there. Tier 3, you have Hakeem, Jokic, and Dirk. And then at 4, you have... Oh, wait. Bird 1, Shaq, Steph there. Here you got Kobe, Hakeem, Dirk. In this bottom tier, you got Shea, Giannis, Jokic, and KD. Yeah, that makes sense. After that, we'll go all NBA first team 2010s. We'll go Steph 2, AD will go 4, Giannis 2, D-Mitch 3, LeBron 1. Fudge. I completely forgot. Embiid there, Tatum there. Not my greatest work. Josh Green, get off my screen. Same with you, Killian Hayes. We'll keep beef stew. Ann Halley. Quickly, no thank you. Jaden McDaniels, sure. Jalen Smith, no thank you. And Najee Marshall. How do we do? 86. Who could we have replaced? Maybe Najee with Quickly? Yeah. Then we'll do the start bench cut. Obviously, Scotty, Jalen Johnson, Benedict Mathurin. That is the only option, dude. Vic, Brunson, Amari Stoudemire. That's not even a debate. Now we're getting somewhere here. Shea, Flash, AI. Yep. I think we end it with this GOAT level debate here. Duncan. Magic. Really? Really? Interesting. Because, I don't know. Interesting. Now, we'll go over to FIFA. Just enjoy myself here. Let's build a good team. What are options here? We'll go Firmino, I guess. Harry Kane. Oh my God, these are stinkers. What is happening, bro? These are stinkers. We'll go him. What is happening, bro? Who can I even take? Take him, I guess. Get some chemistry there. We'll take Ruben Diaz. Finally, something to save us. Never mind. A goalie. We'll take Bravo, I guess. Oh my. I'll take anything, bro, at this point. Please. Oh my goodness, bro. Come on. There we go. We're getting somewhere. Come on. Keep. Not Julian Brandt. You don't help me right now. Sadio Mane could potentially be useful. We'll take Bowen. Mo Salah. I put him. It's just this Renato Sanchez card right there that's kind of messing me up right now. And put Ziyech there. Ooh, wow. Very nice. What if I? Oh no, that lowers chemistry a lot. Not doing that. PK. It's just that Dumfries card. And you certainly don't help. You, in fact, lower chemistry. Right. So I'm cooked. I don't know what to do. I put PK in. Does that? Right. So. Oh. Hey. Well, I just fixed the majority of my chemistry. Interesting. Wow. I didn't think that was possible, honestly. But I fixed the majority of my chemistry. So we have 190. Nice. I'll take that. And then intermittent, we're going to take a break. We're going to guess the NBA 100 greatest players of all time. Back at this part, I think this might be the third time I'm doing this. Let's see how I do. I think that I may have struggled somewhat last time, but you never know. Now, it was James Worthy was the other Laker there. Wilt played with the Lakers. Pau Gasol played with the Lakers. Westbrook played on the Lakers. Anthony Davis played on the Lakers. Then we'll go Celtics. We'll go Bird, Russell, McHale, Parrish, Kuzi. We'll just keep going old whites. We'll go Dolph Shays, Dave Bushras. I can never spell this dude's name, but I know he's on there. Maravich, Pistol Pete, Mikan. We'll just knock out old players right now. Al Greer. Who else? Alex English. Tiny Nate Archibald. Sam Jones, I think. Let's knock out these other current players. We got Curry, Durant, Harden, Kawhi, Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, Luka, Lillard, Butler. Who else am I missing here? Oh, Chris Paul, Paul George, if I can spell that correctly. I already guessed Tatum, right? Oh, Embiid, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. Who was drafted in 20? Oh, is Blake Griffin on here? No. Barkley, Iverson, Ewing, Dominique Wilkins. Clyde Drexler. Stockton, Malone, Kidd, Nash, Wade, Bosch, Morning, Carmelo, Bernard King, Artis Gilmore, I guessed him. Tumble played with AI. Monroe, I already guessed him as well. Who am I missing here? Oh, Duncan, Robinson, Gerving, Manu, Parker. Who else am I missing? Oh, Irving. Oh, that was that other recent player. Nice. Irving as well. Who else am I missing here? Vince Carter. Oscar Robertson. I didn't mention him. The Kings don't really have anyone historic. One Lakers. Is Chris Mullins on here? Oh, Rick Barry. Is he on here? Yes, he is. Nate Thurman. Not on there. I did Wilt. Yeah. Isaiah Thomas. Rodman. Pippen. Steve Kerr on here? No, he's probably not. Joe Dumars on here? Yes, he is. Who else? Shotzi Billups on here. Dwight Howard on here. Yes, he is. Okay. Rudy Gobert on here? 4-time DPOY? No. Who else could be on here? Who else? Sorry about that. Wallace? No Ben Wallace? No Rasheed Wallace? Aldridge? No LaMarcus Aldridge? Who else could we put on here? 83. Oh, Reggie Miller. Oh, Dirk. T-Mac. No, not Penny Hardaway. Dirk. Garnett. Obviously. Ray Allen. Paul Pierce. Who are these 70s players, dude? Retired 2013. Interesting. I said Gasol. Said Kobe. Who was that 2002 player, bro? Who do people consider on the bubble of... Did I not say Hakeem? I did not say Hakeem, dude. Right. 16 players left. Who am I missing here? Retired 2007, 2008. That 2013 one is kind of throwing me off here. Anyone else recent? No, 70. A lot of 70s. Which
okay, I guess. 70s. I said Oscar Robertson. I said Parrish, right? Yeah, I said Parrish. The Bushers, Mikan. Parrish, McHale, Maravich. Dude, who are these other old players? I don't know. Said Shaq. I obviously said Shaq, right? He wouldn't be on here if I didn't. Yeah. Who are these other all-time players, dude? I don't know. I'm trying to think back. But, like, I said Alex English, right? Yeah, I said Alex English. Who in the world could this possibly be? I don't know. I'm at a loss. Who are these last 16 players? Oh, Pettit, Unseld, Cowens, Hayes, Gary Payton, Bill Walton, Havlicek. Oh, I should have known these guys. My apologies. Well, we're going to test our NBA knowledge of current players at least. We'll go guard slash forward in East. We'll go Sar. 6'6". He's not in the Central Division. We'll guess Derek White. Celtics. Jordan Walsh. He is 6'6". He's only 22. I feel like he's older than that. Right. Tata is not listed like that, right? There's no way. There's no way, right? 6'8". Jaylen Brown. Yeah. If it wasn't one, it was the other. He's listed as guard? I mean, I guess. Like, I've always envisioned him as a 3. Especially this season. You have Pritchard and Derek White as the 2 guards. And then you got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as the forwards. But I guess you can label him as a guard. Then we'll go over soccer. Bruno Fernandes. Not even the Premier League. Wait. Younger than that. Go Lamine Yamal. He's a forward, and he's not in La Liga. We'll go... We'll go Vlahovic. Huh. Not in any of those. Where does he play then? Because Harry Kane is kind of old. We'll go... Right, it doesn't count the German league. So it's not Luis Diaz. French league? Is it Dembele? It's PSG forward. French PSG forward. Is it Doué? It's not Doué. Is it Barcola? It is Barcola. Nice. I will take that. Let's see if we can round this out and go 3-4-3. It is an NFC East team, not a receiver. We'll go. No, because Dak is older. We'll go because we can't go CD. We'll go Jane Daniels. NFC East team. We'll go. It's not a QB. We'll go Cam Scatterbo. It's a running back on the Commanders. Or running back on the Cowboys. Right. Running back or tight? No, running back on the Cowboys. Oh, now, if I can remember the running backs on the Cowboys, I'll be golden. The issue is, I can't. This is crazy. Deuce Vaughn is no longer on the Cowboys. Right. Well, drafted by the Cowboys and still on the Cowboys. So, who was drafted by the Cowboys? I remember him. Not Jaden Blue. Then who is it? It's not Javonte Williams, because he wasn't drafted by the Cowboys. This guy. That is a deep pull, bro. He did not play at all last year, man. Only reason I know him because they drafted him, and I was like, why did you draft him if you just signed Javonte Williams and you had Jaden Blue? But whatever. Not my place to judge. Now we'll guess this team. Right. Old Miss receiver is kind of A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf-ish to me. Wait. No, this is the Chargers. Because that's Lad. That's Quentin Johnston. That's Joe Alt. No, that's Slater. That is Joe Alt. That is Gadsden.
That is Justin Herbert. That is Amari Hampton. That is Trevor Penning. An Ole Miss receiver, I don't know, and I don't know who these guys are. But that is the Chargers. After that, final thing we're going to do a lineup game. Who do we take here? Right. Sam Darnold is a steal. And you pair up. Cheddars. Javonte, Rome, and Arroyo. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. 13 people agree with me. Most popular was Darnold, Javonte, Diggs, Jefferson, and Likely. I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I like that. For me, that works. But that is the end of game time. Kind of late again. I apologize for putting this episode out a day late. I gave my reasoning. I was out competing. I felt not good enough to record yesterday, so here I am recording tonight. But yeah, I had a great time. I love talking about the draft. Great time of the year. We kind of do enter a dead period in sports after the draft, waiting for summer to fully come along, and we will have the World Cup to talk about. So here's to that. But after that, I'll have to think of some other stuff to talk about. But yeah, I had a fun time recording this episode. Enjoyed myself a lot. So until then, I hope all of y'all stay healthy. Don't catch a cough like I have. Don't lose your voice cheering on your teammates like I did. And you'll be fine. Drink your water, eat your food, enjoy your carbs. Enjoy your carbs, dude. I missed them yesterday. But yeah, so have fun. And you know the deal. If you guys are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that, all full 9 yards. If you're listening on Spotify, follow, leave a comment, whatever. If you want to read some of the stuff that I'm talking about, I got my website, nicholastorigati.com. I post my full draft analysis is on there. I've been talking a lot about the NBA playoffs. My first round predictions and analysis, all of that is on there as well if you want to tune into that. So everything and anything you want. It's not hard. So just stay healthy, stay happy, and tune in for the next episode next Friday. And I will see y'all then. Peace.